Looking to optimize your early game resource gathering in Tower Factory? You come to the right place. At the start of the game, the two most important resources are wood and stone. So, to make sure we're optimizing our access to those, to make sure we can get everything we need as quick as we can, it's all about understanding the conveyor belt. These can transport up to 120 resources per minute. So, we need to understand what does that look like. So, by placing a wood chopper, you can see that each one of these is going to generate 30 resources per minute. So 30 is into 120, even with my rudimentary understanding of maths, is going to be 4. So by placing 4 of these, you'd be generating 120 resources per minute, and that would effectively fill that conveyor belt without any wastage. So nothing's going to get log jammed up, for want of a better term. But likewise, we're also not underutilizing the space available, therefore being less efficient than we could be. So you can see with 4 choppers, nice steady flow, 120 a minute going into the tower. And that's going to be a great way to get us off to a good start, as wood's very important, as is stone. So, stone is coming in at a slightly different rate, you'll notice. So when you look at the stone miner, you'll see it's only coming in at 20 a minute. So therefore, if you were to use just stone miners, you'd need 6 of these as opposed to 4 of the choppers if you were to looking to optimize at 120 resources per minute. But of course, you don't want to necessarily only work on one thing on one side of the building, as that's going to leave you with either a bunch of trees that are in the way, or likewise, you might have a bunch of stone that's in the way. So perhaps a more efficient way of doing things is to do a bit of a mix and match. As long as you keep in mind that they have different rates of resource production, you can do something like this, where you're going to have 3 of the stone miners, which produce 60 resources per minute, and then 2 of the wood choppers, which we know between them are going to produce 60. And again, that's another way of totaling up to 120. Once they get going, you'll see again nice steady flow of raw materials coming into the tower without any wastage or anything getting jammed up. So keep that in mind when planning your base. You want to make sure you've got something coming in for all 3 of the entrances, again, to try and maximize that efficiency. Stone in the later difficulties is especially important to be gathering early, as before you know it, there'll be flying enemies coming down the track. And that flying cannon is a very, very efficient way of dealing with those compared to the regular sort of acorn shooting cannons. So, as we've got some spare resources available, we're just going to get some wood coming in to the right side of the tower, and then likewise, we're then going to focus on some stone and some wood on the left side of the tower. As quick as possible, you want all 3 entrances to that base having something productive coming in, so we're not wasting time and energy. Now, one thing you want to always do is actually pay attention. So as you can see there, I had resources just slamming into the side of the tower to no effect. So yeah, do pay a little bit more attention than I've done here to make sure we're not wasting our time, because before you know it, nightfall will happen. Again, this is one of the earlier levels, mainly for demonstration purposes, but by now, yeah, you would have enemies coming down towards you. So you might want to replicate that same setup of 3 stone miners and a couple of wood choppers. So we've then got 2 of our 3 entrances to the base now working at full efficiency of 120 resources. These mushrooms, it seems, are coming to attack us for whatever reason. Like, we seem to have antagonized the mushrooms, clearly some fungi. But yeah, you'd want to get a couple of acorn cannons out quickly, and then as soon as you've got enough stone, have some flying cannons ready for when the flyers come. Again, less of an issue on these early difficulties, but later on, yeah, you're definitely going to want to have those. So, like we mentioned earlier, we've got these 3 stone miners and 2 wood choppers on the left and the bottom access to the base, and the right one at the moment is slightly under efficient as it's only got 3 choppers giving us 90 resources. So we can add a fourth one, and that will give us 120. Always make sure you're using these combiners so the resources flow correctly into the conveyor belt. And that's going to set you up for success early game. So we'll do a follow-up video to this to look at the T2 materials, things such as wooden planks, spikes, stone bricks, and slabs, And I think we'll also take a look later on at some of the T3 materials that you would need to really get access to the better towers defenses. Well, I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have, then you know what to do.